How's it going, guys? I wanted to make a really brief video kind of outlining a little bit more information that is located within today's assignment. And what we're going to be looking at today is all about introductions. So, yesterday or a couple of days ago, we began to craft an argument with our four square argument cards. Then, yesterday, you were introduced to the hamburger approach of taking a stand, recognizing the opposition, and then countering the opposition. And so we have the hamburger approach, but we still need to take a little bit. We still need to take a little bit of time to talk about introductions a little bit more. Okay. So it's here in the document, but whenever we go to parties or whenever we meet new people in general, there is typically sort of like a brief introduction into getting to know that person. All right. You get to know each other, you start talking a little bit, and then whatever you say kind of slowly eases into maybe a topic of conversation, like what type of movies you're into, music, what school they go to, et cetera, et cetera. All right. I bring that up because I want to contrast that with whenever you meet somebody, you hardly ever just dive straight into a really deep analytical conversation. All right. That would be kind of odd. So, even with people, we have introductions whenever we meet or are about to talk about something. We need to have that same thing in our essays as well. Right. So, I got some examples here of what introductions should include, all right, and what introductions can look like, all right. Here, I kind of talk about how introductions are kind of like snowflakes, all right. Let's say that we're arguing about a law that's being passed, and let's say that me and Hunter are arguing no, this law should not be passed. All right. So even though we're talking about the same topic, even if we agree on the same side of the argument, it is totally fine and likely that our introductions for that essay are going to look totally different. All right. So for this assignment, again, I always model for you guys. I've written a couple of different introductions. They're very, very different. However, they both include two very, very important things. They both have a hook, which you will find here, and they both have a thesis. All right. So, those words you have likely come across many, many times in your schooling career. However, since this is the first time that we're really taking a deep dive, it always helps to have a refresher. So, if you need that refresher of exactly what a thesis is, you can find that in the highlighted portion up here. All right. So, if you look at these two introductions, like I said, they're very, very different. However, you will notice that they both have a hook and they both have, so that's my hook up here. This is my hook for the second introduction. All right. Notice that most of that paragraph is considered to be the hook. It's still kind of getting the audience's attention. All right. So that means that the rest of us, this very, very brief part, should be saved for our thesis. Our thesis doesn't have to be some magical number. It doesn't have to be some formulaic three-pronged thesis where we highlight our three reasons. That's one way to do it, but that's kind of like an elementary level. All right. Basically, guys, the thesis is we need to include what our main point of our essay is. We're going to talk more in depth about that main point in our body paragraphs or in our hamburger paragraphs, but we need to mention what the main point is in our introductions. So, my thesis for introduction 1 is in bold up here. I did the same thing for my second introduction. My thesis is in bold down here, okay? So even though these introductions are over the same topic and I'm arguing the same side, these intros look a little bit different, and that's a-okay. Some of them have a lot of good strengths, a lot of them some of them, there are some parts in both introductions that have some weaknesses to them too, all right? So for today's assignment, guys, I simply want you to do exactly what I did up there. I want you guys to at least write, sorry, I want you guys to write at least 2 introductions, and you can type them on this free page below everything else, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at them, guys, and I'm going to give you guys some feedback, okay? So make sure that both introductions are about your same argument that you wrote about in that Foursquare argument card. Make sure it's over the same topic of that hamburger paragraph that you wrote for me yesterday, okay? Because in case you guys don't seem to notice quite yet, is that we're slowly building the parts of our argument in the paper that we're going to be turning in the next few days, okay? So we're going to work on them little by little here. So whenever we sit down and write the entire thing, we know exactly what the process looks like. We know what should go into each paragraph. And yeah, so we're doing it little by little instead of just doing it one giant essay. Okay. So make sure you do this. It's due by the end of day today. If you have any questions, please let me know.